I'm staring at the starlight, waiting for directions, got in the way. And this life it keep on crashing, and I keep collapsing, I won't lose my faith. Safety ain't gone nine, and it's restful until I'm on one. Life a movie, it's a marathon.
Gamble Factory, what's going on? It's your boy ZROB. We got Coach T Posey, ready to talk some Monday Night Football, Prize Picks action. Super excited. I mean, as excited as I can be about the Raiders and the Lions. We got another. It's an 8-point spread, or maybe 7.5 point spread, according to this. So the Lions are projected to put up some points. Raiders are projected to be trailing the entire time. So I think we'll have a slip cooked up following that game script. We're pretty close to it. Tyler, how you feeling about tonight?
Yeah, it's a weird slate tonight with the kind of that blowout potential and the Lions. A lot of the props I want to take, man, are just not the right game script flow, but I think it's all right. So I'm excited to at least talk about it. I don't know how excited I am for potential of a blowout because I just hate blowouts, man. I just want the game to be close, competitive. I want teams to be passing it, up tempo style. It's just more fun that way. So that's what I'd rather have. But hopefully we can get that.
I agree. I got a lot of comments about the new music. We had to change it up. Our old intro music had like a copyright thing on it or something, even though it was supposed to be non-copyright music. So we had to change it up. We're getting some mixed feelings about it. It looks like, but that's all right. And then Cam said it's always the tight ends, dude. He's spot on. It's always the tight ends. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Donald Parham was the nukiest nuke that we've ever had, and we didn't play him in Prizepicks, dude.
Yep, that'll put us at 5-1.
Bro, that's hilarious. It was always Donald Parham. It's funny because I play the tight ends and they don't perform, and I say it's never the tight end. So, can we get NBA strip? Nah, just NFL for this one. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm including the Jimmy discount because they just bumped one on props. So I'm including the Jimmy. I'm skipping this crap.
We're playing Jimmy in the Prize Picks set.
I'm so mad. They just bumped my prop. So.
Oh, dude, nah. We'll get 6 NFL ones in here. But yeah, we appreciate you guys coming in here, hanging out with us, talking some Monday Night Football. We got 100 of you in here, so appreciate you coming in. Make sure you like, subscribed. You guys have been doing awesome with that for us, and we really appreciate the support. So we're gonna talk some football. Tyler, you want to go first? I went first last night, and we didn't continue the streak. So
I mean, we had a 4-2-9. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I know, it wasn't terrible. But
yeah, I mean, we were right there. If we'd have obviously switched Parham for Keenan Allen, then I think we'd have hit the 5-1.
That is true. That's true, dude. Parham, absolute stud. It's funny. I played him. After the stream, I was like, nah, he's scoring a touchdown tonight. So I tweeted it out. Donald Parham scoring a tutty. And sure enough, he did. And I was messing around. I don't know if you've ever used Fliff. I have it, but I've never really used it. And I had like a $3 credit or something. And so I tweeted out, I was putting my entire bankroll on him scoring a touchdown, and he hit.
So, oh my God.
So tonight, it turned $3 into 13. So tonight we have the entire bankroll on Laporta scoring a touchdown. So
Oh my gosh, this dude trying to ride it till we die, boys.
That's right. Oh, and speaking of Laporta, I'm just gonna say it. There's a combo touchdown prop between him and Josh Reynolds on the board. So
No.
do with
All
that
right.
as you wish, chat.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that. I've got two props left now that they bumped one of them. I'll start with Robert Spillane over 7.5 tackles and assists. He's kind of a guy I brought up on stream a few times. Not necessarily somebody I have actually played, but I do like this line at 7.5. I think he's a good linebacker in terms of stopping the run, and he's hit this line already 3 times and it's hooked 3 times, unfortunately. So like that's just unlucky, just getting right there 3 different times. So he's been essentially right there at it. 6 of his 7 games. He's been a tackle monster. He's got 57 through those 7 games. So for me, I'm going to play him, and especially in a game script where it's projected that the Lions were going to have a wheel run it a bunch. Don't necessarily need to throw it. So I'm going to grab Roberts playing 7.5 tackles. Machine, good game script, time to eat.
Oh, I agree for sure. Roberto, he said Jimmy interception is free. I got excited that there's a Jimmy G interception prop in here because I was about to take that instead of this other prop. But there's not. But there is a Jimmy G prop that I think is pretty good. I think a lot of people are going to sleep on it, especially because like the books right now, I think they're kind of torn. There's a few books at 34.5, a few at 35.5. But there's no like clear consensus on whether it should be over or under. A lot of people are going to look at his game logs and think under. I really think it's a big time over today. Quarterbacks against Detroit have went over this line 6-7 this season. The only miss against Detroit was last week when Lamar Jackson only threw 27 times. But that was a game they won by 32. If that game was close at all, the way Lamar was slinging the ball last week, he was clearing this easy. Jimmy G isn't really a high volume passer normally, but I mean, if you can't run the ball, which I don't see any way they're able to run the ball against this Detroit run defense, especially with Josh Jacobs being highly inefficient on the ground. They're gonna have to pass the ball to move it down the field. So, and then when you're playing from behind the entire game, which is what I also think the Raiders have to do, Jimmy G's gonna have to sling it. So, I like the over 34.5 pass attempts a lot.
Yeah, I'm with it. The books, they don't know where to go with it. So I just think they're a little confused, and I think that's probably why you're seeing the value pop up. I think we just kind of got to get ahead of the value is why we're taking this one. So I think it has potential to bump later in the day, and especially if the books can't adjust and figure out what's going on. So I just think we just grab the value and move on. At this point,
I think it's a line that definitely it should trend upwards in my opinion. Once more people catch on to it. So
yeah, I think so too. Oh man, there goes Liddell. But yeah, I'm gonna go to Jacoby Myers. He's just kind of been a target monster of late. I think there's merit to take several different props of his. I believe his 5 receptions are a good line. I know the books favor him under 5.5. I think decently, but in a game where I just think that the Raiders are going to have to pass the ball, we just took the Jimmy G prop. So I think this correlates pretty well with that. And the books are favoring under his completions for Jimmy G. So I don't know that he's all that accurate tonight or efficient. So give me the Jacoby Myers 7.5 targets. He's hit this in 4 of his 6 games played. In all 4 of those, he's received double-digit targets. He's just been a monster. It seems like they're not really finding a connection with Devontae Adams like I thought they were going to with Jimmy G this season. And he's just more focused and he's got maybe an easier connection to Myers, running those slot routes and running the short distance. Not really a bunch of air yards to Myers. And seems like that's just his go-to most comfortable receiver. So in a game where I think they're playing catch up, and I think that he's obviously, it seems like he's Jimmy G's favorite target. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna grab that 7.5 targets and live with the results. He's literally hit it four times in double digits, and the one time he missed, he missed it by 1 target. So and you look at his snap rates, and they're gone up every single week to over 90. I mean, this dude just playing 90+% of snaps. He's almost always on the field. So
Yep,
7.5 targets just feels too low in a game of this game script.
I agree. And it's nice, like, I mean, we think Jimmy's got to pass the ball a lot. Maybe he's not super efficient with the targets. So, like, I think, or with the completions. So, like, targets, I think, could be the move, especially, like, I mean, if you're playing for the over 5 receptions anyway, I mean, I feel like you might as well go to targets because I really doubt he catches 6 of 6 targets. You're
Yeah,
gonna probably have to have like 8 targets to catch 6 passes anyway. So, um, but we'll see. I think 5 is also a solid line, very high push potential at least. So,
absolutely.
and I'm gonna kind of so that's really good correlation with our Jimmy G play. I think another rushing yards and like passing doesn't. It is slightly negative correlated, but it doesn't matter too much sometimes. In this instance, I think it does. Josh Jacobs has actually he's went down 2 yards since I last looked, but I still think his under 59 rush yards is still a lock. The Lions' run defense, as I was saying earlier, is absolutely incredible. I think they're number 2 in the league, if I'm not mistaken. They've only given up 50 rush yards one time the entire season, and that was last week to Gus Edwards, who had 64 yards. But Baltimore won by 62, or not 62. Baltimore won by 32. So, I mean, you're getting a running back who has been incredibly inefficient on the season, running 2.9 yards per carry. Uh, the only way Josh Jacobs is probably going to hit this is if the Raiders are just playing from a big lead and he runs the ball at least 20 times. I don't know. He's
Yeah,
favored under 16 and a half carries. So, and they're 8-point dogs. So, I don't see that the volume's there for Josh Jacobs to go over 60 rush yards tonight against the Lions defense that's been very, very, very good at stopping it. So,
yeah. What does he average? He has to average almost 4 yards a carry on something he hasn't done all year against worse defenses. I mean, this
exactly.
is like the best run defense in the entire league.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't see that one either. I would have gladly taken that prop had you not called it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're playing dibs now, apparently. Guys. Zach just messes me out of the blue. Says dibs on these three. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Hey, I gave him like the entire day to call dibs for me, so.
this is true. Uh, it's true. But yeah, for my last prop, it actually got bumped, so I don't know where I'm going now.
What was it?
I was gonna grab the Michael Mayer 22.5 receiving yards prop just because Detroit's been pretty bad
Oh, that bumped up
against.
4 yards.
Yeah, it did. Detroit's really bad against tight ends. Giving up a ton, man. So I really liked it.
I could
So
still see
now
it,
that I,
but
now that I don't,
you don't like it at 26 and a half.
it's okay. It's just I don't like the fact that it's favored under
I
my
can
book.
go with my next one if you want some time to look and see if anything else
Yeah,
stands up to you.
yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go with Gibbs, and I took his rush yards earlier. It keeps moving up. It's at 71 and a half now. I can't remember what I took it at earlier. I'm about to look. Yeah, it was at 70 earlier. So, and I think it was bumped to 70 before I could take it. So I think it was even lower than that. I believe it opened a week at like 65, 66, something like that. So it's just something that's been trending upwards. Um, Golly, I was gonna take his rushing receiving yards at 98. It's been bumped 2 yards also. So now I'm a little torn on that. I know it's just 2 yards, but eventually, when a prop just keeps getting bumped, you keep taking it. It becomes a bad play. Um,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
it could be Jameer Gibbs' fantasy score actually. That wasn't up when I was talking about it beforehand, and I think that's probably gonna be what I take. I really like his rushing yards. I think he has an incredible day on the ground. Um, uh, the Raiders, they're not good at stopping the run at all. Last week you saw with no Montgomery, Gibbs played 87% of the snaps. He had 10 targets, carried the ball 11 times. I don't think he gets as many targets tonight. He shouldn't, as they're playing from ahead probably the entire game. But the rushing production should increase, especially if he's going to play 90% of the snaps or something crazy. Montgomery's also out again. So Raiders have given up a bunch of big games to running backs all year. They've even allowed like AJ Dillon and Najee Harris to run for like over 60 yards against them and rack up some catches. So Gibbs should be in line for a monster game tonight. I think fantasy scores a move now that they have it up here. I was looking for this earlier and it wasn't there. He is pretty decently favored to score touchdown, like minus 135 on DK. But all these other books have him better in minus 150. There's even a couple that are minus 235. Smaller books, so like don't put too much trust in them in comparison to like DraftKings or MGM or Caesars or anything like that. But I mean, if he scores a touchdown, he only needs 12 fantasy score with yards and catches. I mean, that's easy in my opinion. So I don't know. I like
Yeah,
it a lot. And then you could take the rushing touchdown prop, but I mean, he could easily catch a touchdown. So that's why I think
just
fantasy score is better.
yeah. I think he's just too versatile to not be fantasy score because he can just get there in so many different ways. I think fantasy score is a move for him for sure.
Mhm.
Because I mean, they could just run it over him. They could toss it to him and he can score, and yeah, he can score him so many ways. I like that one a lot. I think he's pretty heavily involved tonight. So yeah, I know the odds favor is under 18, but I don't think that matters too much. I don't really care. Not on that play, but I still don't have. I still don't think I really love anything that has not already been bombed. I like Jared Goff's pass attempts, but again, that's just bad correlation. Doesn't really follow the game script all that much. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else that I really just love. I'm okay with Devontae Adams 6 receptions. You
Yeah, I
can
don't.
talk me into that one.
Yeah, that one's solid for sure. Um, Max Crosby. I told you we were gonna get some Max Crosby questions. I wrote up Max Crosby. I was thinking about taking him. Because like Goff, he's been sacked 2.5 times a game this year. He got sacked 5 times versus Baltimore. Crosby, like he's been a wagon for sacks all year. He's hit the point. I think it's .75. Yeah, .75 sacks. He's hit that 5 of 7 this year. I think he has like at least a half a sack in those misses. So if I'm not mistaken. The only question I'm worried about with Max is I think he's going to be a lot of times on the side with right tackle for Detroit. His name is Penei Sewell or something like that. He hasn't given up a sack all year.
Mm.
So that is the only thing that I'm worried about. However, it's Max Crosby. It's a different breed of guy. He's also minus 143 to record a sack. So I don't know. I kind of like it. But also, if Detroit jumps out early, how many times are they going to drop back to pass? How many times is he going to get the opportunity to record a sack?
Yeah, that's the thing. This is tough. I mean, you could probably convince me on this Devontae Adams reception prop. Honestly, it's only at 6, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think
played
probably,
Devontae Adams earlier, so.
yeah, it seems like he's on trade rumors, and it seems like they would. This is like strictly just going off knowledge of past diva wide receivers. Like typically when receivers start getting talkative, they start hammering the ball to him. And they did last week. I mean, he had with 7 catches for 57 yards only. But
That was
I
with
mean,
Hoyer, too, so.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, now you get Jimmy G back in action. I think Jimmy G starts peppering him as well. I don't see any way around it. I mean, it seems like I think he's going to get 6,
What is.
and I think
He's probably pretty heavily favored to get 6.
like minus 161 to get 6.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty heavy odds, too. And it's good correlation with
yeah,
the
I
rest
mean,
of the slip, so.
I think so too. I like it a lot.
I mean, if Jimmy G's going to pass it 35 times, I don't see any way that Devontae doesn't get 6 catches.
Yeah, I think it's Devontae, it's a little bit of Myers. I think both of them get in on the action. Dude, they're not going to run it either. Like they're just going to be so inefficient on the ground with the Detroit defense that I mean, I really like it now. I kind of look at it. The more I look at it, the more I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Lock,
I think
lock
it's
it,
good.
lock it.
It's a good correlation too, which is always what we look for. So I think that's what we're gonna go with, guys. I can't believe Tyler didn't want to do a touchdown or tight end touchdown prop.
Yeah, I mean that was that was the first thing on my mind.
This one we're gonna go with Robert Spillane over. Oh, let me fix that a little bit on the screen. There we go. Robert Spillane over 7.5 tackles and assists. Jimmy G over 34.5 pass attempts. Jacoby Myers over 7.5 targets. Josh Jacob under 59.5 rush yards. Jahmyr Gibbs over 18 fantasy score. And Devontae Adams over 6 receptions. That's what we're locking in for the stream slip. I don't mind the Max Crosby sacks. Just like I said, I'm worried that with his matchup on the offensive line of the Lions. But I mean, it's Max Crosby. And then, I brought up the Laporta combo touchdown prop. I'm not really joking. I really do think Laporta scores a touchdown tonight. And you get some help. Maybe Josh Reynolds happens to score a touchdown as well. I mean, the Lions are projected to score 27 points. So, it's 3 or 4 touchdowns probably for them tonight. And Tyler, he was bringing up Michael Mayer. His receiving line just got bumped. I still think it's okay. It's just the 4-yard bump it's getting pretty big when your line's only was 22.
Yeah, I mean that's a 4 is very significant for that low line. Like Zach said, I mean that's extremely low, like very, very low, and you get bumped that much, it's certainly scary. But the Raiders have given up 290 yards to tight ends through just 7 games. Like they're bottom 8 in terms of giving that up to the tight end. So it is significant what they're doing to tight end. And it's over 40 yards a game. So that's a lot for a tight end, for opposing tight ends.
And then keep seeing Aiden Hutchinson sack also. I think he's actually minus 153 to record a sack, so that's a pretty good play as well.
I said 40 yards. I meant 60 yards a game. Excuse me.
That's even.
Yeah, they're giving up 60 yards a game. Yeah. So yeah, they're just giving up two tight ends left and right. So I like that one. I wish it would have stayed at 22.5 by the time we got on stream, but that's kind of why I didn't bring it up, since it did not stay at that 22.5 mark.
I am currently locking in my slip right now because Prizepicks is not playing lately with these damn bumps, man.
Yeah, send me that link.
It's actually crazy. They're bumping everything left and right, and even stuff that's only minus 125 or something on the NBA. It's hard to make an NBA slip. Everything gets bumped as you take 10 minutes to make a slip and trying to find good plays, and 2 of your plays are gonna get bumped.
Yeah, I mean,
insane.
I looked this morning. I made a list this morning. I had 9 props on there. By the time I go to submit it, I was down to 5.
Yeah, dude, it's frustrating. I mean,
yeah, it is.
And that's why I played a lot of sleeper during MLB season, and I might have to make the move for NBA season as well. I don't like going for less payout, but it just becomes annoying fighting the bumps the entire day.
Yeah, it's all day long fighting that, man. You got to research. You feel like you're rushing your process a little bit just because you're trying to beat them bumps, but I mean, obviously you don't want to do that either because you don't want to mess up and screw up bad value. But yeah, I hate it. I mean, it's just becoming an absolute bump fest at this point.
My guy C-Max said, sorry boys for the Pierce 13.5. Dude, that's not on you, man. That line should have hit. I mean, it's just part of it.
Dude, I love that pick too, man. When I looked at it, I'm like, man, I would have 100% done the same thing. We did our own research on that one too. I mean, I loved it.
Getting a couple Josh Reynolds questions. I think Amon-Ra is gonna be. He has an illness, and he didn't get added till yesterday. If you see Amon-Ra get ruled out, those Lions receiving options opens up a lot. Laporta is probably your first one you want to go to because he's gonna get bumped quite a bit if Amon-Ra gets ruled out. I mean, but then you got Josh Reynolds. He's going to take a massive, massive bump if Amon-Ra gets rolled out. I mean, that's 35 targets the last 2 weeks opening up. So, it's a lot. That's that's going to be 10 plus targets at least to other people. Because that's probably what he would have got tonight. So, pay attention to that news, especially 90 minutes before the game starts. You could find some good value on Prizepicks.
Probably not another slipper, but that's probably all it is for a single game like this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. Oh, go ahead.
We only try to do those 2 games or those 2 slips on big Sunday slates when we have a lot of options.
But I will probably try and get at least another NBA slip out later. Just waiting
Yeah.
for. So, I mean, for sure at least one because I got the Jimmy Butler
Yeah.
discount. So
Yeah. Same for me. I'll get another NBA slip out eventually.
yeah, and I'm sure most of you guys are already following us on Twitter, but definitely do that. Twitter handles are right below our faces. So Jared Goff over 265. I think Jared Goff could have a good game today. I just will he need to is what I'm worried
Yeah.
about. So
That's exactly the problem. It's like you may not have to. I mean, they're pretty heavy favorites. So, and if the game script goes like we say it is, then I think we're gonna like our slip a lot, and we might not need Golf. I mean, he can still hit it either way, but I think
yeah,
so Gibbs could hit either way too. So that's why I just lean to just messing with a running back instead of the quarterback.
yeah. Just realized we have 5 Raiders and 1 Lion in our slip. That's kind of weird.
Or I didn't even notice.
That is really weird. But I mean,
We really have a 5-1 double reverse. That's crazy.
the weirdest slip we've ever made. I mean, it makes sense though. Like Gibbs is the bell cow offensive weapon for the Lions tonight. Hopefully, Robert Spillane is able to rack up the tackles against that. And then the Raiders just aren't able to run the ball and having to pass a lot. So I mean, it makes sense. It is just
It does
it's just
make
weird.
sense. It is really weird. I don't know why we didn't even notice it beforehand. It's hilarious.
I mean that on my list, I had 3 Raiders wrote up for stream and 1 Lion, and that was Gibbs.
Yeah.
So and Tyler's other prop was also a Raider at Michael Mayer. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just they have more value tonight with what they think that they're going to have to do. So yeah, we did that. Cam Sutton's tackle. Somebody asked about that. I think it's fine. And he's right around that each time for the most part. Cornerback for the Lions. So I mean, obviously we think the Raiders are going to have to pass it a little bit. So he should get a little bit extra volume coming his way throughout the game. So it's fine. I think it's just probably where it needs to be though.
yeah.
He's hit it in half the games this year. So yeah, it's a pretty appropriate line, but it's fine tonight. Probably get a little bit extra volume so I can see it.
All right. Well, I think we are gonna get out of here. I don't think we'll have probably won't have a stream till Thursday. We'll see. We'll talk about it. I know I'm kind of busy the next couple days, so maybe that's a no for me. But we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate you guys hopping in here, hanging out with us, cooking up this Monday night football stream. We'll probably have this slip posted here in a little bit on Twitter as well. Give it a little bit. Make everybody else have to also watch the video for it too, So, again, always appreciate you hanging out with us this week. We finally got a 10x cash for NFL week, dude. That felt super nice after so many close calls. We have one more shot at it for the stream slip. It would be nice to end the week off with the 25x. It'd be huge. Tyler, do you have anything else to say?
Let's smack a 25x along with our 10x and 35x unit size, boys.
Ooh, that would be sick. But yeah, make sure you're subbed. Make sure you like the video before you leave. And